Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Ragnarok Ranger from Ragnarok Theory. Coming at you today from the bunker, back to a little bit more normality at the moment. Still some work going on in here, but there you go. I hope everyone's doing well out there. I'm on sick at the moment, I'm afraid, this week. And my bosses have agreed basically when I go back in next week I can go down to 4 days for now. It's not ideal, but you know, till I've been to hospital, find out what they might be going to do about my spine. It's just got to be done, hasn't it? It does make you think, you know, in this situation, if I suddenly had to bug out now with a big rucksack, don't think, well, I know I won't be physically capable of taking it with me. So again, doing quite a lot of thinking at the moment about what would I do. Anyway, that's not what today's about. Okay, I grew up in the 80s, me, and I can remember the fear of nuclear conflict. Back then, there was a real fear of it and a real chance that it may happen. Now, CND, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, they were active and they were massive back then, protesting and chaining themselves to the fences of Greenham Common and causing trouble for police and doing stuff like that. But at least they were out there. Looking back at it, it's all the protests they did and that. Did it have any effect? Unfortunately not, because the truth is, the government don't care about us. No government cares about us. They all care about being rich, right, and their position and their own egos. So they don't care if a bomb drops on us, as long as it doesn't drop on them. And that's the bottom line. The threat never went away. It's just with events that I've seen while I've been growing up, like fall of the Berlin Wall, were massive. The collapse or dissolution, whatever you want to call it, of what we call the Iron Curtain, and the breakup of the old Soviet Union, as it were, kind of made it less likely as more of the what we would have called back then the red communist countries, where people were more integrating into the West and blah blah blah, and so it became less and less likely. So for most of us, we went to sleep about it. But we're actually nearer now than ever before to a nuclear conflict. Let's have a look at the state of affairs. Ever since it became clear that Vladimir Putin is not going to win the war in Ukraine, and they're not, because we've already been there fighting with Ukrainians for God knows how long. We can deny it, but he's not stupid, which is why he's constantly, and his officials are constantly threatening to send nuclear missiles towards the UK. Not threatening anyone else, threatening the UK, right? Is it because we're small, so he thinks he can pick on us? No. But if he actually got rid of the UK, right, and made it so people couldn't come here, right, again, get an invasion fleet from America all the way across into Europe, ain't going to happen that way around, is it? Because that's why America likes being hooked onto the UK in the first place. So, yeah, we're a massive target. And that is not going to change. We're seeing more incursions into our airspace. They're evading sanctions by sailing illegal trade vessels through our waters. And to be fair, we keep making a noise about it, and their special forces operatives murdering people with poisons and biological weapons on our turf, basically. You know, but it's just like, then there's China, the Russian allies. End of the day, they're taking over the world with tech and AI. They're brilliant at spying, we know that. And at every turn, governments, not just ours, but ours is really bad, are so weak. They do nothing to counter it. So the threat is real. And real enough for the scientists to now put the doomsday clock at only 85 seconds, 1 minute 25 seconds from midnight. And that's the worth of our existence. And here's the statement that proves it. what could our governments actually do? They talk about all these sanctions and stuff like that. They could just cut off trade, not buy anything off them, not sell anything, and kick all their diplomats out of this country and every one of their compatriots back to Russia. Right? We don't want them here. They might be sleeper cells for Spetsnaz. We won't know. Right? Why are we taking this risk? Right? And if everybody does that, then Putin would ultimately have to give in, because he can't win a nuclear war. No one can. No one wins. Would he do it? Maybe he'd use a proxy like Iran. Give them a nuke or two, because they'd do it. Because to them it'd be a holy war, wouldn't it? It'd be let's kill the Americans, and then it's just that kind of feel to it that's going on. Well, what did we used to do about this? I'm on about the 1980s, but the threat of nuclear after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, after they saw just an old-fashioned H-bomb now, you'd call it, could actually do, right? And once they got the nuclear bomb, all of a sudden it's just like everybody who could get one got one as a deterrent, right? So it doesn't matter how much you protest now, you can't just get rid of them. All this disarmament, what are you going to do with it all? Yeah, it's probably safer, like, put away, maybe take the detonators away and destroy them so it can't be detonated or whatever, and then store them in these underground bunkers and close them off, blow them up and bury everything. That'd be the only way you want it, and they ain't got the will to do that at the end of the day. So even from like the 1960s onwards, they were putting out pamphlets. Now, you might have heard of this before. It's called Protect and Survive. This is just a black and white printout that I've done today. This was a booklet that in the 80s the government had, and they had a series of films, little documentaries about nuclear war as public information, films and documents for us at the onset or the likelihood of a nuclear strike. But it were never meant to be released. Well, then people leaked it, the press got hold of it, and there was an uproar about it, so the government put it out there. But again, it had a detrimental effect, because if you actually go and watch the Protect and Survive videos, the guy's there, he's just talking like a robot, and if somebody dies, blah blah blah, make sure you cover them up and seal them in a bag and move them into another room until you can arrange to get them removed for burial. It's these families people are talking about, and it meant law back then, to be honest, didn't it? And it's just people were horrified. You can find this online still. I believe this is one of the older ones about how to decontaminate yourself, and they had stuff like this: civil defence, why do we need it? I mean, these are just printouts at covers, but these are like 18 to 20 page documents, and you can download them all on PDF if you want. They are out of date, but to be honest, they're not, because the way the government are going to tell us to build a shelter in this house now is pretty much the same as they were going to say it back then, right? So the theory is still there. There's nothing kind of wrong with the content, because there's not much you can do, and if you're in a certain blast zone, you're just going to get dead anyway. So that really isn't going to matter. But it caused fear, it caused panic, and just because of the emotionless approach that it seemed to take. And like I say, although it was quite basic information, it became clear there was no proper civil defence plan, there was no bunkers to take people to. If you survived, you simply had to wait it out, and they had this thing called the 7% to 10% rule. If that's not long enough, just pause it and read over that, because that explains what the 7 to 10% is, the principle on that chart on the screen there. And this was the whole basis of how they believed you could get by having enough food in the stores to get by, because after 2 weeks, I think the radiation's down to like 1%. It's actually not dangerous anymore and stuff like that. So this is where the time factor came into it. Of course, we've moved on now, and there's a strategy and a better civil defence plan in place, isn't there, for if this happens today? No, there's not. Isn't that shocking? There's still no bunkers. There is no civil defence plan for the UK. Yeah, let that sink in. We're no further forward at defending us now, our government defending us, than they were in the 1960s or the 1980s. They've got no plan. We don't even have the 4-minute warning anymore. We don't have the public announcement systems that they used to have. There's absolutely nothing. It's almost like I've always said, they're not going to warn us because they're not going to want mass panic if anything happened. But there's absolutely no actual plan of what they're going to do. And there's no one out there anymore like CND actually kicking off about this. So it's just left to float on by. Well, they give foreign aid to 1 million countries, to countries that won't take their criminals back, and yet we've just given them a load more money for stuff. It's just like, what are we doing? You can't even defend your public. And I'm not even just on about the English folk or the British folk. It's anybody who lives here. If you're in this country and there is a nuclear strike, you're it. Just the same as I am. Okay. Now there is a paper that was written by they call them research fellows, and can I get the names? Richard Lilford and Peter Chilton, research fellows, and Joe Sartori, senior program manager, actually wrote a paper. Does the UK have a coherent plan to deal with public health and civil order consequences of a nuclear strike? Right, and so I've dug this up today. So, the threat, let's have a look how they perceive this threat. And this is how up to date you're going to find this to be. Recent events in Ukraine have forced our minds onto the risk of nuclear strike on our small and densely populated country. Russia has placed intercontinental nuclear force on increased alert, and we cannot be certain that it's bluffing. Because of the successes that Ukraine have had on the battlefield, the risk of nuclear retaliation has been heightened. So that is the threat that these guys who wrote this paper perceive. Right? When we're being threatened by Putin, yes, we are being threatened by him because he's losing that war, and it's our fault because we haven't really helped, and he knows it. He ain't stupid. Okay, then it goes on about the scale of the attack, and you can't predict that because he might launch one small warhead, or he might send 100 large ones, or out in between. You just don't know, do you? So you can't predict the scale. Okay. But they've done further down at the bottom here, evidence of preparedness. We find scant evidence that the UK has made comprehensive plans to deal with a nuclear strike. We appear to be much less than prepared than we were in the 1960s, when numerous preparations, including exercises in which the public participated, were made. So these are people that actually know what they're talking about, telling us that we've been done for, really, aren't we? There is online, you can read this, it's 80 odd pages long, the Defence Investment Plan. This could change now, because the guy who's just become the Chancellor was the guy who resigned because Keir Starmer would not give him the extra $3.5 billion or whatever it was. He ripped him off on the defence budget, put it in one way. This, if anyone, is the man that's going to put more money into defence for our country. So he could be a good addition for a change. Right, so this could change, or this could be what he's really wanting to get implemented. I've not read the full 85 pages yet, whatever it is, but I will, because I want to know what exactly is being said. Yeah, but this plan's for equipping our forces and defending our future. Whose future? We're not defending ours, because if we get invaded or if it went nuclear, we're stuffed, aren't we? And there's this as well. This is a good little leaflet to get hold of. Again, download it free. Okay, what to do if there's a radiation emergency. Because the good part, on the back of there's an whole list of links and resources that you can go to have a look. But at the end, I'm going to, when I finish talking, I'm going to hand some slides, so don't just turn straight off like you normally do. In fact, why don't you try subscribing or liking the video for once or something? Yeah, you're getting a lot more like views and getting no reactions, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, anyway, and the other thing that I'm just going to pop up on the screen now is called Nuke Map. I think this is meant to be a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's also meant to be accurate. You can put in your city, your nearest city. You can put in from a list of warheads, right? What happens if this warhead hits my city? And it shows you. Yeah, colour-coded. Shows you. Right? Dead. Dying. Probably still going to die. Yeah, you know what I mean? It shows you just, and I think that I set it at a 5 megaton warhead. So that chart that I just put up there is a 5 megaton warhead dropping on Wakefield. Yeah, pretty sure that I'm dead. So, oh dear, there we go. Where is CND now? CND. Why is no one protesting on behalf? All these protests and stuff that are going on. Oh, that's right, they're in pub, aren't they? Or they sat eating a pizza watching some crappy Love Island rubbish. Or they've gone to football because it's more important to watch a load of people who aren't worth the money, what they paid, for running round, falling on the floor, crying like little children. Right? That's worth more to them than the family getting blown up in it. Anyway, not trying to fearmonger. End of the day, it's all tongue-in-cheek. You'll only listen and take notice of something that you want to. These are just my thoughts. So, yeah, I'll put the slides on the end. We don't prepare to survive. We prepare in case we survive. Survival is an instinct. Instinct is everything. Take care. Stay safe out there. And I'll see you on the next one.